accessories. Here's what's not. Saving $3,000 off MSRP, new or used. Go to TrueCar.com. He played 14 years in the NBA, including the Lakers. He was a multiple-time All-Star, a former first-round pick, a friend of our show, contributor to FS1. Let's bring in Caron Butler, who I love having on the show. Caron is a man. He's a mature adult. We have adult conversations.
Always.
So I imagine we'll agree on everything, because I, too, am an adult. Nice kicks, by the way. Show the kicks to the crowd here. Nice kicks.
Ooh.
You didn't even know who – I said, where'd you get those? And you said –
I was trying to be modest. They sent them to me.
All right.
Balenciagas.
All right. So I'm watching Chris Paul. I love Chris Paul. I've loved him forever. I always compare, like, Westbrook to the Bitcoin cryptocurrency, high, low, up, down, roller coaster. Chris Paul gives me a 9% return every year. Plays defense, shoots 48%, not going to finish at the rim and jam on people. I love Chris Paul. I'm not into Westbrook. You agree with me, right?
I love them both. You know, obviously I've been teammates of them both, and, you know, I played with Chris Paul. And, you know, the thing about Chris Paul that you can appreciate is, you know, he's evolving. He's learning how to play with another superstar, and that took time. You know, it did. You know, he had Blake Griffin. He had so many other guys in Los Angeles and in times before that. But now, you know, we all thought that the Houston situation was a train wreck ready to happen, just waiting to happen.
A lot of people don't. And let me tell you something. I don't think Chris Paul is necessarily liked. Westbrook's loved by players.
Yeah.
Chris Paul's not loved by players.
For all the right reasons, though.
No. That's why I love him. Troy Aikman wasn't loved. John Elway wasn't loved. Peyton Manning wasn't loved. I'm just going to tell the audience this. Behind the scenes, players love Westbrook. They don't like Chris Paul. Why?
Because, you know, he's going to challenge you to be a better version of yourself. You know, he's going to hold you accountable. And, you know, I've been a guy that, you know, played with him, against him. And he's a guy that when you're competing against him, you're just like, you know what? I would love to play with that guy. I would love to be in a foxhole with that guy going into a game 7 or, you know, a lose or go home situation or a win or go home situation. And it's like, you know what? We're going to come out on top because he's just going to leave it all out there on the court.
By the way, when you were in L.A. with him, he and Blake, he and DeAndre, I mean, I would go to Clipper games. He and DeAndre, the body language was lousy.
Mm-hmm.
They don't look like they like each other.
I think chemistry is everything. And, you know, shout out to, you know, State Farm for doing an excellent job of talking about that. You know, you know, they talked about chemistry and, you know, sometimes when you just have it, you have it.
Yeah.
You know, just putting that out there. You know, that's one of the things.
Now, but you love Westbrook, who just flamed out again in the playoffs. The dude's been in the league 10 years, Caron. When's he going to evolve?
I think that's what's happening with him also. You know, he's a winner.
Is he?
Yeah, I mean, you look at his body of work and you look at his career, he's been to the finals before, came up short. And that is him evolving and becoming into a much more mature guy. He's understanding that, you know, you have to have camaraderie off the court.
He didn't drive you crazy?
No, because he's a competitor. You know, the thing that I appreciate about Westbrook is that, you know, a lot of times when people hit the lottery, what they do, they quit their job. He did not quit his job. He works harder. He's becoming a better version of himself. Now, not at the time that we want him to, but he's becoming that and he's evolving into a better player. You see him in the offseason already, you know, spending time with, you know, Paul George. And taking that time to, you know, keep him on the squad.
Well, what happens if Paul George becomes a Laker, which a lot of people think? Then can we say, as a second guy who's like, adios?
But it wasn't Russell Westbrook that didn't perform at a high level. I feel like Paul George has to take a little ownership in that on his own. You know, he had more than enough opportunities, naming himself playoff P. And, you know, in all honesty, he was a little inconsistent down the stretch. And he would be the first one probably to tell you that if he's honest. So that's not Russell Westbrook's problem, you know. So I think Russell Westbrook will be better, you know, going forward. And I'm just looking forward to continue to see him, a young superstar in this game, evolve.
By the way, so Shaq and Barkley got into this argument last night. It was very funny. So Barkley's basically saying you can't, if you got a star player as a coach, you got to get in line with him. And Shaq's like, no, stop babying players. Here was the argument.
He's got to repair his relationship with DeMar DeRozan.
No, he don't.
Yes, he does.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, you have to, because listen, if your best player, You bench your best player.
Why was he benched?
That's not the point.
This is the point.
You don't disrespect your best player.
Listen.
If you don't have a great relationship with your best player, you're never going to win.
That's not true.
He did not.
That's not true.
He did not, well,
me and Pat Riley never saw eye to eye, and what happened to my man win. So it's not true what you're saying.
Well,
it's not true what you're saying.
That's not true.
I'm just letting you know.
Was the man on that team?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I was a role player. You're right, but you know what?
That's my point. That's my point. I'm saying with your best player.
You don't know what you're talking about when it comes to championship.
I'm just telling you something.
Stop babying
Wayne carried you to that championship.
Listen.
You're wrong in this. And
that's why you ain't win, because you was a baby. Stop babying these players.
Not babying no player.
He don't play. He don't play. He got to sit his ass down. Period.
He got to repair his.
He ain't got to repair nothing. He got to stop babying your players. You got baby. That's why you ain't win.
He got to. I didn't have Dwayne Wade and Kobe Bryant carry me up and down the court.
Where do you fall on that? Is that funny or what? They really
classic.
They're like brothers. They get after each other, right?
Yeah.
Little brother, big brother, and one guy's got the rings and one doesn't. You know, I mean, where do you fall on that?
First of all, folks, both are great players, and people that, the reason why I'm in this space is because of both of them. You know what I mean? Like they paved that way. However, like if you're looking at players in the association,
are they babied?
Sometimes guys are, not being told the brutal, honest truth.
Well, that's what I say about Westbrook. Russell, stop shooting threes. You're 10 years in, you're awful at it. Like, he can't shoot threes.
How can you get better if you don't
by the way, some guys aren't good at stuff. By the way, Joel Embiid, I don't want you shooting jumpers. I mean, if you're 10 years in the NBA and you're not good at something, you're not going to be great at it.
Yeah, but I think guys try to continue to enhance and evolve, on the fly. You know what I mean? Like they're trying to find ways to, add different components to their game.
But everybody always says players. I always hear this from older players. Man, those young guys are baby. I remember this though. Now this is funny. You don't remember this. Well, maybe you do. When did you break into the NBA?
2002.
Okay, so you always flew on a team plane.
Yeah.
Okay. Wilt Chamberlain and Jabbar had to fly commercial.
Yeah.
And I can remember when it was about 1995, everybody moved to the team plane. And old guys were like, give me a break. How can you miss games? You guys fly. You get a meal. So the older generation in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, they called you guys soft. And now you guys are saying to some of these young guys, you guys are a little soft. Let's be honest. In the last 30 years, you guys all been treated well.
We get treated great.
Great.
Fair exchange is not a robbery. I think it's a great partnership. You know what I mean? Like I don't think anyone's coming to see some of the execs and so have you play the game of basketball. The players are the product. They are the content. They're the live content on the court, and because of the money that's made from BRI and what have you.
So do you agree with Barkley, which is you got to take care of your players, or do you believe with Shaq, which is these guys are baby, get out there and play?
They both made valid points, like truth of the matter. And I'll be the first. I didn't have a horse in that fight right there.
No, I was just enjoying it.
It was fun. It was interesting to watch, but, they both made valid points.
Okay. So James Harden's going to win the MVP. LeBron won't get a vote.
No doubt.
Okay. Houston got good. I mean, really special when a star arrived, Chris Paul. 10 more wins, conference finals. LeBron lost Kyrie Irving. They just swept Toronto back in the Eastern Conference Finals. Mm-hmm. Who's really more valuable?
That's a great question. And, you can kind of, go back because since we're talking LeBron, you can look at, what he was able to accomplish with, 4 Hall of Famers, when he played with Ray Allen, when he played with Dwayne Wade.
Yeah, he was winning titles every year.
Yeah. So he was in contention, real contention. But those guys didn't get the credit. It was amazing because LeBron was so great, he made that work. Now, this is the same thing. These guys, which we touched on earlier in the show, it could have potentially been a train wreck waiting to happen.
So who made it work, Chris Paul or Harden?
They both did. They both did. They adjusted their game and they played off each other extremely well, just as LeBron did for years playing with other great talents when he went down to Miami, when he came back to Cleveland, making an adjustment, putting Kyrie in situations where he can be dominant with the ball and do so many things with it. And then now he was forced to do this. I don't think LeBron wanted to play like this season, but he's a guy that by any means necessary, whatever measures, I'm going to go out there and pose my will on the game, however, to get it done. And that's what you're seeing with him. If LeBron won the MVP this year, I don't think no one would be like, he don't deserve it, because he's like Jordan. They can win it any year. They're still the best player on the planet. You know, he's dominant. And, you know, but this is James' year. He had an unbelievable season.
I always hear that. It's always, last year was Westbrook's year, and this year is Harden's year. I'm just saying, seems like to me every year is LeBron's year. Kyrie left, they're the same place.
Yeah, every year could be his year.
Same place. Caron Butler. Sam Darnold is right around the corner. The quarterback for the New York Jets, former USC star, will be joining us live from New York in our third hour. It's The Herd.
She's on the way. Don't worry.